See all these price tags? See how all the perforated ones are gone?
What you just saw is not an accident. Walmart is removing prices from tags, and it's not just Walmart. Big retailers are quietly moving us into a system where you don't know what the real price is until you are at the checkout or using their app. Here's what's happening. These companies are tracking what you and I buy, where we live, even what kind of phone we use. They use algorithms to figure out the maximum amount you might be willing to pay, and then they charge you that amount. Most people don't notice because, let's be honest, we're all busy, we're distracted, and just trying to get through the grocery store run, right? And our elderly population, many of them don't even think about scanning an item. They grew up in a time where you could trust the price on the shelf, and they believe these stores are still honest, like our government, right? Meanwhile, these retail giants are making more money than they know what to do with, and yet they still want to squeeze every last penny out of hardworking families. I call that a scam, and I believe it should be considered discriminatory because the people who pay the most under the system are the ones who are least equipped to fight back.
So today we are analyzing how Walmart has switched their paper price tags to digital price tags. And you might think, okay, digital price tags, but it's like, no, y'all, these digital price tags can change within seconds. You could literally be holding an item and watch the price change right before your eyes.
I literally witnessed this brand and all these other 10 snack size bars change from $2.50 to $3.16. It started glitching and I thought, what in the world? Because I had noticed that it was $2.50 when I come down this aisle. And next thing I know, it says $3.16 and I see this one glitching and I see this one glitching. And I knew that it was $2.50 and now it is $3.16. I literally witnessed that. Walmart, you suck.
Oh my god, look. These price tags started updating right in front of me. This is crazy, dude. Oh my god, that cup went up in price. I wish I would have. I had to like get my camera going, right? So there was a delay. Dude, this was under $2. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. Maybe it was like $1.98. Now it's $2.18. But like, oh wait, did that just go down? I'm trying to see if I can catch it on camera. I've never been in a store and actually watched the price of something go up right in front of me as I walked up to buy it.
We have now reached a point where the price you pay for products is decided by an algorithm that knows everything about you. Stores like Instacart, Walmart, Amazon, and Delta are collecting things like your browser history, your location, your income, what device you're using, and how long you pause over a product before you put it back. And it's all fed into a system with one job, which is to figure out the maximum price you'll pay before you walk away and charge you exactly that. Which now means two people in the same store with the same product at the same time will see two different prices and you'll never know which one you are. The FTC confirmed this is already happening. Companies are using your data to detect urgency. Say if you're searching for a last-minute flight to see a sick relative, the algorithm sees desperation and raises the prices. Instacart was caught running secret pricing experiments where the same order cost different amounts for different customers, adding up to over $1,200 a year for some families, and nobody was told. And if it couldn't get crazier, Walmart is replacing every paper price tag in every store with a digital screen by the end of 2026 and has already filed patents to update prices using your personal data in real time. Maryland just became the first state to ban this, and the retail industry lobbied until the law was full of loopholes, and Walmart can still do most of it. And we are now living in a world where we are being treated like data points rather than humans.
Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Awa and I am actually pivoting from another channel, and I just want to make this page strictly about discussing the things that are currently going on in the world, current events, social commentary, really discussing how dystopian society is. To be completely honest, as much as I don't want to keep up with everything that's going on in the world because it's just going to, you know, like overload our plates with stress, I feel like it's really important for us to keep up with what's going on, because there comes a point where you're gonna reflect back and you're like, wow, like when did this shift happen? And to be completely honest, I feel like we are privileged in a sense to be able to see these things happening in real time, but also be able to document it. And I just feel like I want to document it so that way we can look back years from now, people can look back years from now and really understand just how things have evolved over time. But most importantly, for us who are currently living in these times, we need to know how to better navigate so that we can actually live like proper healthy lives. Because let's be completely honest, the things that they are doing in this world, it's just like y'all are just self-destructing on purpose, right? Like there's just no way that you guys don't know the negative effects of the things that you are implementing, and it's almost like they don't care. I mean, we know they don't care, right? And it's very unfortunate because you would think as fellow humans they would operate out of human decency and do things where it's like you wouldn't do it for yourself, so why would you want to do it for another person? But I'm sure we can all agree, and the people who didn't want to see it, like there's no way you can't see it now. Capitalism is literally digging the graves of human beings, and I just feel like at what point do you stop? You get what I'm trying to say? So if you're interested in just keeping up with the times that you are currently living in, but also like understanding how to better navigate it, and you want a reliable source to bring information to you, because I just feel like nowadays you don't really know what sources to trust, because people are just throwing things out there, or it's like the news outlets, we already know we can't fully trust those, right? But I'm gonna do my best to bring information to you guys as best as possible. I'm gonna do the best that I can with researching things, and I'm actually gonna put effort into the content, so that way, like I said, I'm educating us of these times, but also people of the future, where they can look back and see like, wow, like this is how things have evolved, but also understanding like how they can better navigate it as well. God willing, they have the resources, they have the capabilities to still do that, because again, society is becoming very dystopian, and in a way where it's just like, again, how far are they really willing to go? So if you're interested in this type of content where I will not be fear mongering, but I would just be bringing facts, and I will try to do it from the most level-headed space, but also providing solutions, right? Because we don't want to just talk about problems. We're not going to sit here and just trauma bond on this page or be like, woe is me. Like, no, we're going to acknowledge the reality of the world that we're living in, but also find better alternatives on how we can navigate it. And yeah, so if you're interested in that type of content, then please stick around, because y'all, I'm a person who cares about my own life, and I don't trust people who don't care about their own lives. You get what I'm trying to say? So I would hope that me being a person who cares about my life, then you understand that if I care about the stuff that I'm researching, I hope that as this page continues to grow, that there will be trust built, and you guys will understand, like, listen, I have my own best interests at heart, and I have y'all best interests at heart too. So it's just like, as human beings, let's do our best to just be decent human beings, because it's really not that hard. You get what I'm trying to say? But the world makes it seem like it's that hard, even though it's really not. But anyways, let's get into today's video topic, and it is about the Walmart prices. Y'all, whose bright idea was it to swap out the regular price tags for digital price tags that can literally change on their own depending on whether it's peak hours or how many people are in the store? Or I've heard that there's probably even like facial recognition where they can see like your mood or something, so then they can adjust the price.
Hey, what's up, America? I'm here at a Walmart, and I want to show you the electronic pricing tags that can change prices based on surge pricing. So as you know, a lot of places are starting to replace actual paper tags with digital tags. Here at the Walmart by me, they're doing that now. So let me show you what these look like, and let me show you the difference. So here's a digital tag. These prices can change at a moment's notice, and they do throughout the day. Every single one has been changed to a digital tag, so these prices will go up 3 or 5 cents depending on what time of day it is, and they'll go up when more people are here shopping, and they'll go down when fewer people are here. So let me show you the difference. Here's an actual tag, and then here's the digital tag. See, they look identical, but this one is a digital tag. You can even scan it and change it, or it'll change depending on if they program it. And this is the paper tag, and this is on every single fucking one almost. And you can see here behind the glass. So this is happening at every Walmart across the country, and this will be happening at every grocery store across the country at some point. They can literally take these prices and change them up and down a couple of cents throughout the day and make millions. And then they'll incrementally raise them so it'll always be higher. See, look at these prices. These prices are indicating that they've raised them and lowered them slightly throughout the day, and they have. There's videos online showing these prices changing. And they're also planning on using your phone data to change the prices as you're perusing the products. That's not happening now, but that's coming in the future. So a price just for you, fucking you for profit personally.
Whatever the reason is that they are doing this, obviously is a way for them to gain more money without having to stay stationary in pricing when they know they can benefit more from it at certain points of the day. So I'm actually in the process of editing right now, and I decided to look into into like if Walmart is doing things based off of like facial recognition or if they're trying to surge prices. So it turns out that Walmart actually commented on this and they denied that they will be using the tags for personalized pricing or facial recognition. I decided to do a little research to really get an idea of like what were they doing it for, and they're basically saying that Walmart is installing digital shelf labels in all 4,600 US stores by the end of 2026, while consumer advocates and lawmakers worry these screens could use facial recognition for dynamic or surge pricing. Walmart denies using the tags for personalized pricing or facial recognition. So they're claiming that the purpose of this is to speed up the updates. So basically it's designed to let staff update store prices quickly instead of changing paper tags by hand. Also, Walmart states that the prices remain identical for every customer and denies plans for surge pricing. And when it comes to public and political concerns, I'm seeing that shoppers and lawmakers worry that the store cameras or the future tag tech could track demographics like age or gender. So basically targeting specific people, which obviously is wrong. But I will say not everyone is having this, right? There are states like Connecticut and Maryland that have pushed back or passed bills to restrict dynamic grocery pricing, which thank God, like why would y'all even, but and I dived a little deeper. So right now currently Maryland, Connecticut, and New Jersey have successfully signed bills into law banning surveillance pricing. Again, it's a specific practice of using a consumer's personal data to algorithmically generate individualized targeted price hikes on store shelves, which again is wrong. And in case you guys want to look into it yourself, Maryland, the law is called the Protection from Predatory Pricing Act, HB 895. And it's been passed and signed. For Connecticut, the law is called the Senate Bill for Surveillance Pricing Ban, which has been passed and signed. And then for New Jersey, the law is called the Fair Price Protection Act, which again has been passed by the legislator and signed into the law. And honestly, I was questioning like why would people assume the facial recognition thing, because I wouldn't have thought that. But it turns out that consumer groups point to older Walmart patents regarding customer tracking and emotional detection to fuel skepticism. And to be completely honest, I never thought this day would come. I never thought this is something that retail companies would ever consider. Like, you hear during like Black Friday, maybe if you go in one day the price might be one thing, and then if you go during like the sale they have the price hiked up by like $300, but it's like this is sale price. Like that is something that we have acknowledged, especially over these last couple years of Black Friday, where it's just like, okay, this is not legit anymore, right? Like you guys are changing the price, but it's like it's different when you are shopping in real time. You could be looking at a tag and then the price literally changes right before your eyes. Or let's say if you go and you pick up something and it's $3, but now imagine 20 minutes has passed of you walking through the aisles collecting the rest of your groceries, and now that you're at the register, that same item that you picked up for $3 is now ringing up for $3.49, and you're just like, wait, that's not the price that I agreed to.
So $302 for UPC, $51.87. $313 for UPC, $51.87. Like, what's going on,
so
Walmart?
either they haven't changed it over to whatever pricing, or
It's digital. They should be able to change that in a minute.
I just went to Walmart to get rhinestones. This tiny thing of rhinestones was like $2.98. I get up to the cash register and it rings up as like $7.50. So I swiftly left and went back to the crafting aisle and I took a picture of the price and I brought it back up front, and he's like, I can honor it for now, but just so you know, the pricing is going to be changing. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, we're going to get like the digital price tags, so soon the price can change at any time, and then we're not going to be able to price match any pictures you provide us. The fuck? Robbery, straight robbery. I'm not paying $7 for fucking cheap ass rhinestones and having the price of my food like double or triple on me, and you're not going to honor the price that's in front of me on the shelf. If the price is different than the prices on the shelf, then why didn't you fucking update the shelf price? No, I'm not playing these games. Nuh-uh.
And I don't know about y'all, but like if I go grocery shopping and let's say if I pick up a pineapple and it says $2.99 when I picked it up, that's the price that I agreed to when I said, you know what, okay, I'm gonna buy this, right? If I get to the register and it rings up as $6.99, I don't want that pineapple no more because I didn't agree to that $6.99 price tag. I don't care. And some people might say $3 to $3.49 is nothing. It's just 50 cents. Just pay it off. But the reality is a lot of people are penny pinching. A lot of people are struggling financially in this economy. People are budgeting to the best of their ability. That 50 cents for that one item might be something a person can say, like, you know what, maybe I can let this slide. But there's someone else who might not be able to let that slide. Imagine it's not just that one item. And then on top of that, imagine it's not just that one item where the price tag went up. You now have like 7 other things in your cart where the price tag went up by a couple cents. And it's just like, now that's adding like an extra, let's say $5 or even $10 to your bill. Some people may not have the budget for that. And even if people did have the budget for it, why is it that the price tag is changing mid shopping? Why is that even a thing? But y'all, even though I explained it, let me show some videos of people who are actually in the store while this is happening.
Catch people up on the very short version of what happened yesterday, because a lot of you guys have watched, and a lot of you are still watching, and I appreciate that, because the more we talk about it, the more we have to fix it, right? If there's attention brought to it, they'll have to do something at some point. That's the hope. Is that when Walmart, and this is going to be specifically about Walmart because that's where I was yesterday and that's all I can talk to. When Walmart was switching to digital tags, okay, the very first question I had, because I don't live in a very huge area, so Walmart is one of the more limited options. And then when that happened, I asked the day I got there and saw it, I was like, hang on, how does this work? And I stayed and talked to a manager and I said, just help me understand. Is there a set time of day where you change the pricing? They're like, we don't just change the prices. No, I know, but like at some point corporate things will go on sale. They won't be on sale. Is there like 2 a.m. it rolls to the sale? So like when do prices change? And they're like, I don't know. What do you mean? The prices don't just change. And I was like, they do. Things go on sale or off of sale. Something might be a doorbuster. Something might be a clearance item. Something might be, so when, like, is there one time the whole store rolls over, or is it like fluid throughout the day, like 10 a.m. close, 4 p.m. fruit? You know, like when does that change? Oh, I don't know. We hadn't thought about that. Okay. You hadn't thought about it, or corporate hasn't thought about it? Like who hasn't thought about that? Because I need to know, as somebody on a budget, if I'm going to be shopping for an extended period of time, my concern is if I'm like, I love this Yeti knockoff from Aldi. I love this. I'm going to get this. Oh, it's on sale for $2.99. Put it in my cart. And then I walk around and shop, which could take me up an hour, 2 hours, because there's a lot of us. There's 5 of us. And if I'm shopping at this level for that many people, when I get to the register and I boop, and it's $10.99 because the sale ended while I was shopping, and they're like, yeah, I don't know. I guess you just need to take a picture of everything you're buying and showing what you're buying next to the price with the QR code that shows what the price is the moment that you pick it up. It'd be helpful if the picture's time stamped. And I was like, that's crazy. That's lunacy behavior. I was like, that's not realistic. And I gestured to my cart that had, $300 worth of shit in it because I got to buy food for all of my allergy people. And they were like, yeah, no, I don't know an answer. Which I'm not mad at them. It's not their job to have an answer, but they should have some sort of an answer. But again, I was very early in the process of them switching over. So yesterday my nightmare came true, where I went to the back, found a tag. The tag, not the shoe, not the price tag on the shoe. The tag where it was hanging said $18, scratched out $3, like doorbuster, like it was a sale, and it was advertising as a sale. It was in red, like this is on sale. That's what caught my attention. And I thought, phenomenal, because my daughter needs shoes, and they would be cute, and they have rainbows, and she will love them. And so I got them. And then, just to be careful, I go to scan the price tag on the shoe, $3, and it says the same thing, $18, send yellow, clearance, $3. Great. Threw them in the cart, picked up, 10 more things on the way up to the front, all the way to the front of the store. And I get there, boop, $18.98. What? And then after going through multiple tiers of employment there, so I talked to the guy at the register, I talked to manager of apparel, I talked to the manager of the store. Yeah, the price of that shoe changed depending on where I was standing in the store. What do you mean? So we all walked together back to the shoe department, scan it there, $3. Same pair of shoes, nobody put them down. Boop, $18. So depending on where I stood in the store, and I was like, hold on, so you can just put whatever you want on the rack, trick me into thinking I can afford it, and then as I get closer to the register, the price increases? Well, then I'm gonna pay for everything in electronics, if that's how we're playing this game. I was like, that's not okay. That's gotta be a law. That's why I was losing it. I didn't care about the shoes at that point. What scared me was you could do this with all of it. And it's not just me, KP, that they were like, looks like she can afford more, let's just raise her price. You're doing dynamic pricing on all of us. That's why I lost it. That's why I snapped. I've had a hard day today. And that's okay. Days like that happen. But what I want to talk about is Walmart. And I don't want to hear a bunch of, boycott Walmart, don't go to Walmart. I don't have the bandwidth to take on why that doesn't work for everybody. So I love you guys, but hold that thought, because I can't today. But what I want to tell you guys what happened, because I'm so angry. Sorry. And I'm going to try really hard. I'm not very good at this. So I'm going to try really hard to put the pictures so they pop up so you understand. But I wrote down my notes so that I can remember. Sorry. I probably should have waited until I was more regulated to have this call. Okay. So my kids have outgrown their shoes and need new ones. Fine, great. I love that for us. I love that we're growing, and I love that it's time. But everything is so wildly expensive, and I had to be at Walmart for other things anyway. And I thought, well, let me just peek and see if there's anything on sale, because I'm having a hard time finding anything, $20 or less. And I found a price tag. And I brought this up in a previous video when my Walmart switched to digital tags. I said, this makes me really nervous, because when do I know when you update the tag? And nobody can answer that for me. And they were like, I guess at night. No, I don't know that. Like, when I shop for my family in person, it takes a very long time. There's 5 of us. Everybody needs something different, from deodorant to food. I'm all over the store. I'm there for a long time. We're on a budget, so I'm trying to price match things. I'm trying to make sure that we have enough for it. I'm trying to make sure, do we really need this right now? Do I need to wait until another paycheck? Like, life is hard.
And I asked, when they switched to digital, what if the price changes while I'm shopping? Like, what if I pick something up and it's $2 and then the sale ends while I'm shopping and I get up here and it's more expensive? That would never happen. That would never happen. That's not how it works. I'm like, okay. But like, and they said, listen, acting like I'm the problem. Listen, if it bothers you that much, just take a picture of everything you're buying, and then when you get to the register, if it rings up different, you can just show us the picture and we'll match it. Because they don't price match online, which I'll make a different video on that. They don't price match what's online. They only price match if it's mismarked in the store, okay? So I'm in the back, and I find a pair of shoes. Actually, I don't find the pair of shoes. I find the price tag that says that it was $18.98, marked down to $3 for kids' sneakers. Where are them sneakers? Where's my $3 sneakers? So I'm trying to find those. So I'm gonna stop here and make another video, okay? So I find the price tag. Total transparency. I don't typically do recaps. If you just find this video, please do not tell me don't shop at Walmart. I can't handle it today. I agree, and I don't want to, but I can't handle it today. So, okay. I find the price tag that says these kids' sneakers are $3, marked down from $18.98. So I'm like, yeah, let's find those sneakers. Dope. And the shoe hanging below it is a purple sneaker. And I scan with my phone for that location. Like, I've turned it on to say I'm at this location to price check. And I scan the QR code on the shoe. It's coming up $18.98. So I scan the QR code, and we all know where I stand on those, on the price tag, to see if it's the purple shoe. And the QR code takes me to a different shoe, a black sneaker with like rainbow laces. That's the sneaker that's $3. It says that it's $3. The QR code has pulled up, I'll put the picture up, has pulled it up and said this shoe was $18.98 and it's now marked down to $3. That's what the QR code said. But it's a black sneaker. That's not what's hanging directly below the sign. So I'm looking around. I find the sneakers in the picture that match, okay? I find them laying on top of the shelf somewhere else. I'm assuming a lot of people ran into this and threw the shoes down because they were pissed. So I find that shoe. I take that shoe down. I'm like, oh, I found it. Because my son was with me because someone brought a gun to school today. So again, I'm not in a good headspace. So I had my son with me and he was like, oh, this mom. And so he's sitting in a chair. I was like, I'm sorry, baby, but I gotta get shoes for your sister. And so I scan the tag on the shoe. And it comes up $3, and it says at this location it's $18.98, marked down to $3. That's what the tag on the damn shoe said. Okay, and then I throw it in the cart, and we go up to the register, and I'm bringing stuff up. And my son was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought that was $11. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought that was $8, and it's coming up $15.98, $14.30." And I was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "I have a fear of this. Are you sure about that?" He's like, "Actually, I don't know because we were looking at so early in our shopping experience. He can't remember 100%. And we're already at the register, so like I don't know. Do I stop and pack everything back up and go back to take pictures of everything? I don't know because I have a whole cart full." And then I go to ring up these $3 sneakers, and they ring up $18.98. And when I scan it with the register, boop, $18.98. No, it's not. It's $3. So I pause, call the guy over. I scan it with my phone. Now, same exact shoe has written in the buggy from the back of the store to the front of the store. The same exact shoe. I scan it. Only sold online, $18.98. That's a lie. I'm holding the ship. All right, we'll stop making another video. Okay, if you're here to tell me not to shop at Walmart, please don't, because I'm very delicate today and I can't handle a whole lot. I'm just trying to tell this story so that other people are aware. Okay, this is a multi-part series, so if you really need to see how I am, go back and look at the other video. Okay, so I'm at the register and I chose to go through not one of the little square ones where it's the self-checkout, like you take 6 things. It's the one that's got the conveyor belt self-checkout. So like I have space, I'm not bothering anybody. Boop, $18.98. And I'm like, no, it's not. And so I stop, pull my phone out, scan the tag. Now, standing at the register, $18.98. No. And the thing says only sold online for $18.98. And this is the same exact shoe that when I scanned it in the back of the store 20 minutes ago, it was $3. So I called the guy over, and the guy scans with his phone. He's like, no, it's $18. And I was like, but it's supposed to be free. And he's like, can you prove that? What? Whatever, bro. And I was like, yes. And I said, do you want to walk back there with me? He's like, I'm not. I'll leave this section. And I was like, okay, well, it's $3. And he was like, let's ring it up 18. And I was like, I don't know what we do now. And he's like, if it's that big a deal to you, I'm going to have to call a manager. And I was like, it is that big a deal to me. Of course, now my son is mortified. He would rather, throw himself off a cliff. He's like, Mom, it's not that big a deal. It is, boys. It is. It is a big deal. Because you just told me that you don't think the prices rang up right on everything I've rung up prior to this. But this, I absolutely know was supposed to be $3. So now I'm questioning everything in my cart. So I have my teens stand there with our stuff and guard the space. And he tells me, I need to go back to where I got the shoes, the employee. I need to go back to where I got the shoes and take a picture. And he's like, but make sure you get that QR code because if you don't bring that up here, I'm not going to be able to check it. Okay, that. I would love to. I'm disabled and I would love to take another lap around the store. So I leave the register and go to the very back of the store where shoes are. Okay, and I get back there. Sure enough, take a picture of it. It says $3. It says that it was $18.98, scratched out $3 in red, like super clearance. And then I take a picture with the QR code to show the shoe, which shoe I'm talking about because you got the wrong shoe hanging up there. Okay, but whatever. And so then while I'm back there, I scan the shoe again, $3 on the ticket, like on the price tag on the shoe. So I'm like, I don't understand. I take screen grabs of all this and I come back up to the front. And he's like, yeah, I guess I'll just change it to $3. And I was like, I have a bigger question though. Like this scares me because that means that it's choosing the price based on where I'm standing in the store. And that's unacceptable. And I said, that's something that needs to be reported to the Better Business Bureau. That is unacceptable. And he's like, man, what do you want, a manager? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you're gonna wait. And then proceeds to laugh at me the whole time. But I will get into it. Okay, I'm trying to hold it together. Please don't tell me not to shop at Walmart. I can't handle it today. Any other day I would love to talk about it, but not today. Okay? So this employee is now laughing at me. I am a joke. Which also breaks my heart because it's that is why people are getting away with what they're doing, right? So flip it about it. Okay, fine. So a manager finally comes over and she is telling me, no, they're $18. I was like, they're not though, they're $3. And I was like, I don't really care. What I'm upset about is anybody who has any type of anything that could be considered a limitation would not be able to do this. If they don't have a smartphone, if they can't afford Wi-Fi, if they have mobility issues, if they have vision problems, if they have a learning disability, if English isn't their first language, like there's a million reasons why somebody would not understand what you're doing right now. And I was like, and I'm not saying you, I'm not mad at you. I'm saying this is not okay. The Waltons need to get it together, right? And so then she's like, she doesn't believe me that they're $3. And I must have picked up the wrong shoes. Fine. She's like, if you have time to wait, I'll go back there and check. And I was like, fine. Like at this point, I'll sit on the bench. I'll be here all day. So she goes to the back. She's gone for a really long time. And then she comes back like winded. She's like, I'm sorry. You're right. They are $3. But I see what you mean. So she had gone into the back to talk to supervisors back there to let them know this was happening. So then she's like, I need you to talk to the big manager. And I said, fine. I'll talk to whoever because this feels like price. Like this is a trap. This is what people are afraid of. This is the problem. Walmart's the problem. I know. But okay. So that woman apologizes profusely. Another employee just happens to come over to be like, what's going on? We fill them in and they're like, we were worried about this. And I was like, I'm worried about this. We're all worried about this. And I was like, this is a problem. So they leave. And then I'm supposed to buy what I'm going to buy and then go up to the register and they'll price correct at the customer service or whatever. And I said, honestly, at this point, I think the shoe should be free for me, but whatever. And so I go up there and they have no clue what's going on. They think it just rung up wrong and I paid the wrong price and they need to like fix it. And I'm like, no, it's bigger than just it rang up wrong. The price is changing actively while I'm in the store. So then the head manager person, ruler, I don't know, whatever, she comes over and it said, well, I just don't think you're understanding how to use the app. And she's like, but we won't get into it. Just go ahead and let her have them for $3. And I was like, don't. I was like, that can stop right now. And I was like, I'm not understanding the app. I said, I'm embarrassed at how fluent I am with your app. And I was like, so that's not it. And I said, and this is a bigger deal than just I want them for $3. This is a much bigger deal. The price actively changed while I was in the store. And then when I went back and checked it again, it went back down. And then when I came back up to the registers, it went up again. I said, this is something that needs to be reported to the Better Business Bureau. This is fraudulent. You can't do this. So she's like, I think you went to Walmart.com. I don't think you actually went to the app. And I was like, show me. Let's do it. So I pulled my phone out and I was like, you mean like this? And I clicked on my app. And she's like, yeah, that's it. And I was like, and then choose this location like this. And that comes up and she's like, oh, I guess you do know how to use the app. And I was like, okay. And I said, stick with me. And I scanned the shoes, $18.98. But I can buy them on sale online for $8.92. Full price online, $17.98. Where are these prices coming from? So now I've got new prices. So different price in the back, different price at the register, brand new prices at customer service. And she's like, that's the online price. It doesn't mean it's being sold by Walmart. It just means it's the online price. And I was like, please stop talking to me like that. I was like, I'm really frazzled today. And I was like, so I'm doing the best I can to hold it together. And I hear you. And I was like, but that means you now have yet another false price. And I was like, so it's wrong in the back. It's the wrong merchandise hanging up in the back. Then you come up here and it changes back to full price and pretends like it's only sold online. And then I come up here and it's full price, but if I want to get it cheaper online, the full price online is $1 cheaper than the in-store price. And I can get it even cheaper online for $8.92. So all of us go schlepping back to the shoe department. So here I go to the back of the store again. Okay, again, if you're here to tell me not to shop at Walmart, I really can't handle it today. We can have a big debate about it on a different day, and I love your enthusiasm, but I can't handle it today. So we go, new big manager of the store, myself, the woman in charge of clothes, manager of clothes, apparel. That's it. She was the manager of apparel. She comes with me. Teen has given up. He's sitting in the corner because he's just mortified by my behavior. And so we all go schlepping back to the shoe department. Okay, and she's like, show me where you got the shoes from. Like I'm making it up. And I said, there. And she's like, huh. And I said, and if you read the description, the shoe hanging below it is not the right shoe. And she's like, I don't know why any shoe would be $3. And I was like, doesn't matter. That's what it's marked and that's what you're going to sell it to me for. And I was like, but also that's not the shoe that's hanging there. And she goes, well, we can help it. Customers come in and move stuff around. I was like, I don't care. With my whole chest, I don't care. And I said, this really bothers me because it's very discriminatory. And that means that the Waltons are not taking into consideration all the people that are struggling. Not that they ever have, but this is just like right in our face, disrespectful. And I was like, so I'm very frustrated. And so then she tells me, well, the shoe's not going to ring up for $3. Now, mind you, at this point, it's been, I would say, almost an hour that I've been dealing with just the shoes. Okay. Because now I'm on my high horse, as my husband likes to say, and I'm not coming down. Now I've got a point to prove. And she's like, oh, look at that. Comes up as $18.98. I guess you can't get it for the $3. And I was like, we're not doing that today either. Just because you've now decided to change the price while I've been here talking to you does not mean I'm going to pay the difference. And I was like, so again, let's go back because I already have pictures and evidence of it. So no, I have screen grabs and I'll show you all of that. And so we go through the whole conversation again. So at this point, some woman comes out of the back, like the back of the store, and she's like just moving stuff around. Not unlike me with my yoga kitties when I was at the thrift store eavesdropping. And she's like, what are we doing? And I was like, oh, and I start to show her. She goes, no, I don't work in this section. I just work in freight. And I was like, okay. And so I give her the Cliff Notes version and she goes, yeah, yep. And I was like, I don't like that. And she's like, oh no, I'm just saying I agree with you. I was like, okay. And then a guy comes out of the back and he starts just legit just jingling stuff. He's not doing anything. And I was like, do you want to hear the story too? And he was like, oh, me? No. And I was like, I'll tell you. So I tell him what's going on. He's like, And everybody's kind of cutting eyes, but nobody will say it because I got the big manager standing there, right? So nobody will say it. And so she's again trying to explain to me. And I was like, I'm not mad at any human standing here talking to me. I appreciate that you all have a job. I appreciate that I'm a mom. I appreciate that I'm just trying to make ends meet. And I'm appreciative that I'm on a budget. I'm sure you guys are too. And I was like, but this just is a glimpse, a tangible, provable event that this is happening. Because before it was all just hypothetical. Like, what if they could do? What if this is me proving to you that you have this on sale? The tag says it's on sale for $3. You have the wrong product hanging there. So by the time somebody grabs this and goes to the front, they might not catch that it came up at a higher price if they're buying a lot of stuff all at once, which most parents would be, right? So they're not going to catch that it's more than $3. And then by the time they go home, are they really going to come back? So this feels like a scam. And I was like, but also, it's why nothing's where it's supposed to be because people are throwing it down because they're scanning with their phone being like, oh, bump this. And they just throw it down wherever. I was like, you got dresses here, you got a bag of chips over there, because you took down all the price checking things. So as people scan it with their phone, they're like, oh, I can just throw it down. I was like, so I don't care that it's not in the right place. That's not my problem. This is the shoe. When you scan the QR code, this is the shoe that it's supposed to be. And she's like, no, you're right. So they are allowing me to buy it for $3. And I'm like, I just, and I know, Walmart is its own plethora, but like, I can't today. I can't. This is so frustrating.
And this right here is raising a lot of concerns within consumers because it is being understood that retailers will be raising prices based off of demand, and this is basically known as like dynamic pricing. So it's like the idea of during peak hours, they will say like, there's a lot of people in here, we can profit more off of this. And if you ask me, this is quite sinister, especially when you consider Walmart being a store where people go there because the prices are affordable. So it's like, okay, now during this time period where the economy is really hitting for a lot of people, a store where people felt comfortable shopping because they felt like, okay, this is within my price range, this is within my budget, now you have to worry about them just changing the price on you mid shopping. And the unfortunate reality is food insecurities and financial insecurities are only going to increase from this because people are now going to feel like insecure going to shop for groceries even when they're on a budget. And let's say Walmart is the only guaranteed place where they feel like, okay, my budget can work with this store. But now you are feeling this sense of like, okay, let's say if I have $30 to go grocery shopping, right? I'm picking out things intentionally so that when I know I go to the register, I'm going to have the money to pay for it, right? But imagine you collect everything intentionally, you go to the register, and now the price is changed on you. Do you know like how embarrassing that would be for people? Because it's like, well, you don't have it. And then there are already stories where people are going back and forth with the pricing, whether it's pricing from like the app or pricing from like the websites, like they're just not the same. That can be embarrassing for a lot of people, because you know on the low, like, okay, this is what I can afford, but now to be at the register and have to put things back, even if it's just your necessities, like I hope this would never happen, but imagine an employee says like, oh, it's only like 29 cents, but you don't have it. Like, what do you then do? Like, I don't want to have to sit and explain to you like, hey, I don't have the funds to pay this, so now you have to put it back, but you need it. But it's like, this is not even the price that I agreed to. So there's a sense of, yes, I want to hold my stance of, this is not the price that I picked up off the shelf. But now you got to go back and forth with the employee. They might have to go call the manager. Now you holding up the line. Like, it just will create a lot of tension, a lot of discomfort for a lot of people. And I don't know about y'all, but listen, just imagine a mother who has a box of diapers or even formula. Like, you need that for your child, right? But it's like, now you know that you picked it up off the shelf for $20, and now when you get to the register it says $22, but you literally only have $20. Yes, you're gonna want to argue, because you're in a situation where my child needs this. Like, this is not even a matter of, oh, I'm just picking this up because I just want to get it. Like, this is a necessity of mine, and it's just not right that they feel like it's okay mid shopping to then up the price, and now you just have to deal with that. Like, now you just have to agree to that price. Like, I just don't think it's fair. Because let's just continue on that scenario for a second, right? She can either go back and forth with them, and they can, you know, have some human decency, some empathy, and say like, you know what, I understand, let me just give you the price that you saw it as. Even though it's like, realistically, if you make that pass for one customer and other customers are having the same issue, which is very reasonable, do you then accommodate everyone? Which then just shows like your whole system of switching out the price just doesn't make any sense, and you should just go back to regular standard pricing. And if you're gonna change the price, change it overnight when the store is closed or something, but don't change it while people are shopping. You get what I'm trying to say? Or let's say if the customer doesn't come across employees who are going to empathize with her situation, and they just say like, well, ma'am, you have to put it back. It might be a customer who's nearby to say like, you know what, let me help you out. And the reality is that's not anyone's responsibility. But also, what if that customer is also struggling themselves? What if that customer is also on a budget themselves? So what does that mean, that that mother has to put down the items that she needs for her child to then say like, you know what, let me come back during non-peak hours and hope to God that the diapers or the formula is now back at $20 so that way I can afford it? It's just very inconveniencing. And I feel like, especially in this economy where it's like, you guys understand that things are tough for people, so it's like, why make it even more tough? And it's like, companies, I get it, like you want to stay at a point where you're still high up, but it comes to a point where it's just like, certain things, like ethically, you have to really sit down and say like, is it really worth me doing that? You get what I'm trying to say? Like, maybe Louis Vuitton or something can do dynamic pricing, right? But like Walmart, really, like groceries, necessities, like y'all want to even do it to food? Y'all want to make it so difficult for people to get their necessities, and it's just not right. And listen, it's getting to a point where people are literally taking pictures of the prices as they're picking up items, so that way when they go to the register, you cannot tell me like, oh, now it's $5 extra. Like, no, this is the price that I picked up. I can show you on my phone. You get what I'm trying to say? And it's so flabbergasting, because it's just like, wow, like I can't believe the world has came down to this. Like, we already know the world is just like a little cuckoo off they rocks, but like when you really just think about how like we are really living in a dystopian society, and it's only getting worse, y'all, there's so much to talk about on this channel. I'm gonna have to ease into it, because I don't want to like overload with the content, because then it will really show the reality. Like, y'all know when they say like ignorance is bliss, I feel like I've gone through that phase where I was so hyper aware of everything going on in the world to where I'm like, damn, it's a little dark. But I had to get to a point where I'm just like, listen, I cannot consume all of this every day, every hour of the day, and realize like, wow, like this life, like you guys, and when I say you guys, I'm talking about the people in charge, like you have turned this life into something so unnecessarily difficult, something where it's just like you guys just want to make it tough for people for the sake of money. And I think that's like the crazy part, like control, greed, power, all of that. And it's like, does your conscience not feel bad? Does your conscience not feel like, damn, like I'm not a good human being? You get what I'm saying? All for money, like all for money at that. I just feel like, you know what, but my camera literally says 4 minutes and my battery is dying, so I'm gonna have to end this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please let me know what topics you guys would want to talk about. I am open to any suggestions, but like I said, I will be doing a lot of just like social analyzing, and I'll be coming to y'all with just the information. But anyways, y'all, I thank you so much for watching this video. I'm your host Awa, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.